This video contains content sponsored by John Wilson Blades and MK Blades. Opinions discussed in this video do not reflect the views of John Wilson or MK. Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Jennifer Kirk.
And I'm Dave Leese, and welcome to the recap of the European Championships. I have to say, for a couple of days, I was stuck in St. Paul. Jenny, I couldn't get home.
Did you ever leave the skywalk? Did you ever get outside, Dave Leese?
No, even when I tried to get food, I was having one of the worst days of my life. And I couldn't leave St. Paul, and I couldn't get a flight. And anytime I was stressed or freaking out, I would run into Meryl Davis, who was just looking perfect. And God,
she is one person to run into. She's always very calm.
Even when she can't get to DC, yeah, she was giving me travel advice, but I never left outside. I was even back in the hotel watching Serena Williams, but it was. And then I've had a sinus/ear infection, which I haven't had since I was 12. And I'm on this antibiotic, and I'm hoping it's going to give me Tara Kane's waist, so I can wear one of Aljona's bodysuits, as we'll discuss. But it's been a week.
I feel like Dave Leese has been inundated in what it's like after nationals. For me, it was tough. I have no problem, but this is why skaters, when it's your first time, you're exhausted, and then you have to go to 4 continents. We used to have to imagine last week having to get on a plane and fly to Asia and do your long program again, Dave Leese. I mean, you feel what these skaters go through when they come home.
And I really think that the skating world, a good therapist that could take multiple insurances would do so well at nationals, because I really believe the key to the skating world is that everyone belongs in a halfway house or some sort of rehab. And that's what I really saw loud and clear, was that almost everyone is crazy there. Even when you think someone's normal when you're speaking to them, they are in fact crazy. So yeah, I think that a good therapist,
I was very proud of myself for staying at a different hotel. That's the way to do it. Just avoid all of the drama. Go home every night. Fall asleep by 11 o'clock. But speaking of nationals, we
saw it all, honey.
I'm glad I like hearing it from. Yeah, I don't like being a part of the drama. I'm old. I'm 31. I need my 8 hours of sleep every night. But let's talk about nationals, because we did have fantasy and we have a winner. Parabéns to Kate Penner. She was the winner. She is from Harvard. She was a dancer. So respect for Kate, because you know what she did, Dave? She predicted 3 out of the 4 gold medalists correctly. And we had so many surprise gold medalists. I mean, not so much Max.
It's from Harvard. This is what happened.
It's very smart.
I think a couple of them too. I wanted to pick them, but I didn't want to believe that would happen. We just. You know what? We're going bold the rest of the season in fantasy. We have to.
You have to go. She also had 4 out of the 6 men's correct in the right of order in the men's event, which was very good. So she won a $200 prize pack from Curidan's Pride. All of Ashley Wagner's favorite picks. Team Jenny defeated Team Dave, but there were 600 people playing. I got in the 200s, so I don't know how much of a.
I got in the 200s.
Yeah, how much of a win that was. But parabens for everybody playing.
I was in the low 200s, but okay. And we also have Ice Network winners.
Oh, okay.
So we have Dan Rivers, Jesse Ramirez, Laura Friedlander, Elkin Cavas, and Samuel Zabo. So email us your email addresses, and we will contact Ice Network. Tim Gable was never my husband, people. That's embarrassing. So that is.
Any other good answers that you heard on there?
It was amazing that when you have an open book test, to people to fail in such spectacular ways.
That's why when people take online school or online college, I'm always if you don't get an A, honey, you can, the book is right there. Nobody's watching
right there. You. Yes.
But let's discuss Europeans, because talking about right there, the women are right here on our Ice Network computer screens this week. Medvedeva winning again. Is she going to win Worlds, Dave?
Jenny, pause. That's how you lead in. Medvedeva winning, Radionova having a Natalie Peschalot moment. And thank God we now have those musical chairs where you push someone out and they rearrange. Who was she texting? I've angry texted like that before. I felt like Radionova and I could really text with each other.
Well, I love that she got a new dress and now she has the necklace. It was all about that they put on the necklace.
Why does it? I hope she dyes it red for World so it looks just like roses in the dance scene when they're
I was
partying.
gonna say, it looks like it's the curtains or like the tablecloth. Like, it's not a cute. She and Medvedeva. This is going to be so much about fashion this week, guys. I apologize.
It needs to be. It was Europeans.
Medvedeva, she doesn't have a waist on her dresses. Watch the cut of her short and her long program dresses. It never comes in. And Radionova, that skirt, it was like she literally had the curtains behind her.
Between the hair and the dress, she looks like she's in a Jewish pogrom, but then there's like Brad Griffey sparkles everywhere, and then it's very confusing
lipstick.
to me.
She doesn't have any lipstick on this season.
She's young. I mean, she jumps like she's 14. I mean, come on,
but going to Radionova,
she will learn. You know,
skating, one of the things that, and we'll talk about the judging too. That first Let's combination is always very squirrely. She landed it, but she got +2 GOEs by the judges.
Chris Mabey was very upset about the GOEs. I'm like, this is Europeans. But then, okay, I have to, in their defense of the judges, did you see, outside of the top 2, did you see any of the girls at Europeans who looked like they had ever landed a triple?
No, but
they looked like they were from the Coyote Skating Club at U.S. Nationals. Like,
but at the same point, just because they're not doing it doesn't mean you grossly inflate.
Jenny, we have to use range, and sometimes a -3 isn't enough. Like when you see.
I understand it that way, but you shouldn't then do a +2 for something that's really iffy at base value. It should have been a -1.
I was excited to see someone who had ever landed a triple Lutz before, or had ever done a full program. Because Yoshi, I really have some questions about your long program run-through stamina. It was, It was strange to me.
Somebody needs to bring Yoshi to the mat counter. I'm just saying. Just saying.
I miss Vicky. She was really
I miss Vicky. I miss both of them. This was last year.
I like them both. I really do.
Last year, it was this show where I fell in love with them. I met the sisters.
Laura Lepisto was liking all of our things. So I tweeted something as I saw her liking our stuff that I missed, the pretty Finnish girls with the nice skating skills who could sometimes jump, and someone thought I was throwing shade at Yoshi, but it was like, no, Laura Lepisto, Laura. What is it, Laura?
She was Lepisto.
Alyssa Sisney, where are you? How do we pronounce her name?
We could spell it, but not say it.
All the pretty girls, that's what I wanted at Europeans. This was
pretty girls who could do like a triple toe, double toe, a flip, a Lutz, maybe a double loop.
They're Maxwell, who we'll get into in a moment.
Okay, but going back to the top 2, I think with Radionova, I just wanted to hold things like her landings, and that's the thing. I thought the jump
up because she doesn't have shoulders and she's got the schnack She needs to elongate, and maybe she could contour on the sides of her neck so that we could think that so she likes a lot of makeup, but she doesn't know how to blend, is what one of the competitors was saying, that she tries to contour, but there's no blending. So I think we could get her at the counter all here. And I mean, I have a 16.5 neck, but we could really do it nice for her.
Yeah, I just, in getting into the ice, I love her grit. I love the fact that she is consistent, but there's something about her that's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I mean...
Well, I really saw negative GOE on most of her jumps because though she is landing them, it looks like it's the last time that they will be landed.
And her leg, because she comes down, she doesn't like to bend her knees and get into the ice.
She's dropping the left shoulder. I think she did the triple loop double toe, and that shoulder was dropped.
Did you hear Tarasova? Hey!
Well, okay, so she is from Tarasova's club, the CSKA, because Tarasova, has a big part in Kovtun and Adelina and their gold medals. And Irina Goncharenko coached Sotnikova, I believe, when she was younger. That's who coaches. So Tarasova has an extra pull there when she's really... That Iceberg Up YouTube channel has been such a gift to us this season.
I know. And she doesn't hold back her love. But I want to talk about it because we just saw the U.S. ladies at nationals. Radionova, Medvedeva, how do Gracie, Ashley, Paulina, how do they compare?
Radionova is not a guaranteed on the
She's
vote.
vulnerable, yeah.
I don't see the skating quality, and I think that when you watch Gracie's program next to Radionova's, I would put Gracie ahead. Gracie against Medvedeva, I think, is much more interesting because Look, Michelle Kwan won a close world title the first time after she won the season. You always have the edge when you win the season. And I think Medvedev has been good so many times that that's why the judges start throwing those +3s and +2s when the jumps look like Lipnitskaya. So, and Medvedeva jumps better than Lipnitskaya, but I
think her in-betweens are much better. I mean, just the skating skills. She does extend her lines. Yeah, there's sloppy moments, but it's not like you're watching the same thing like when you watch Radionova.
I think Medvedeva has a great chance, but the double axel is not her jump in either program here.
She shouldn't do 2 in her long. She shouldn't do 2.
And the arm up, and it never pulls her core up. She kind of just like throws it. It doesn't really matter. It's not changing her center of balance or anything. But yeah, that was. But would you have put Medvedeva first?
I would have. I think that just the quality of her skating is better than Radionova's. How about you?
I would have as well. I didn't think the double axel even mattered when she left because of the sloppiness of Radionova. I know she is so entertaining to watch, and I love her too. I love her personality. I love that apparently she struts down the street instead of walking. Like, I'd rather be friends with Radionova, but I think that Medvedeva did
just the quality of her skating. Well,
but not her dresses, I have to say.
There needs to be a little bit more of a waist. Now, the Russian women's world team has not yet been named, so we saw Pogorelaya here kind of fighting
probably
for her
the
life.
last time this season.
I mean, after these performances, and I got a lot of flack after talking about her suicide falls.
I stand by. I think she wants a good medical retirement and for the Russian Fed to just pay her.
I've never seen a skater. Yeah, I've never seen a skater fall, like, never. And it's not even like there's a reason for her to fall like that. I mean, it's not like her jumps are so horribly tilted, or I mean, they are sometimes tilted, but to roll around and just
she was over her feet and everything was lined up on some of those. I mean, I understand a knee down, you put your hand. She doesn't even protect her head, which is always confusing on the falls. There's something going on. What's interesting is apparently she skated well in practice, but one of her competitors said that her coach would go behind the curtain when she would skate because the coach knew what was coming.
Like something's bad, yeah. You never know. I mean, it's nerve-wracking. We don't even know this woman, and we feel scared when she skates. I know she's only 17.
Scared yet excited, I have to say.
I'm scared. I think there's going to be blood at some moment in her career. I mean, if you continue... it's not something that she had coming up in the ranks, so I don't know what happened.
The fall.
No,
that's what's
the momentum
she lets the fall just keep going for the drama or something. I don't know. There's something not quite right about these falls.
But do you think they'll name her to Worlds? I mean, who's going to... No, after this, no.
Come on. I mean, even you have to imagine, even the Russian press, everyone wants it's going to be either Lipnitskaya or Tuktamisheva. So Nikova's doing art on ice. Who knows if she's coming back? I think she's still training, but I mean, come on. She's, having a show life right now and, enjoying it, eating what she wants, skating with pretty people and Lambiel probably and Costner and who knows. But I think that, I don't know, but I think Lipnitskaya has a chance in the weirdest way. She's with Urmanov. She's learning how to jump.
She looked much better at nationals, at Russian nationals.
I kind of think maybe there's one more chance for Yulia, but you have to think Tuktamisheva has an edge being the reigning world champion, but I don't expect to see Pogorelaya at Worlds, and neither does Phil Hirsch. And he said he was agreeing with us on Twitter and judging himself for it or frightened, but hi, Phil. Come on,
Phil. He secretly fell in love with us last week.
I really do. He does, yeah.
Everybody does.
Phil, how's your son doing? What's going on? How's your cat, Phil? You have that. I'm a cat person too, Phil Hirsch, and you look very good in the spandex, Phil. I always look at your Facebook.
Any more women to touch upon before we move on to the men?
Fleur Maxwell skated to Take Me to Church ahead of Jim Peterson. Just saying, Jim. Jim, I know you're going to watch Grease live tonight. I don't want to see a Grease program. I don't think that Danny O'Shea could be a good Danny Zuko. It's not where I want. I know you're probably going to have a couple cocktails and think that Tara could be Sandra Dee, but I don't want to see that, okay? But I'm going to tell you, that Fleur Maxwell was fabulous here. And Jenny, are you following Fleur on Instagram like me and Megan Duhamel and some of my friends?
I'm sure, but I went
Yeah.
AWOL on social media mean it's a lot.
No. So like Fleur is really where it's at. So she has a very wealthy boyfriend, and she, I believe, has
Parabens.
tell from her costumes that her family in Luxembourg, that's like the richest country in the world or something, or one of. I'm sure someone will send us hate mail. So Fleur has always been doing very well. I remember when I met her, she had a very, elegant coat on. She always has very good fashion, but she's always around all of these expensive baked goods in the city. And but we never actually see her eating the cupcakes, as Megan Duhamel likes to point out. But she's always around. There's always bottles of champagne. She's always going to museums, and she's going to
it sounds like she has a very nice life.
I believe that she watched The Real Housewives of New Jersey and manifested living in Franklin Lakes. I just think that this is how it happened.
Is that where she lives?
Yeah, with her spine surgeon boyfriend. Soon to be fiance, I believe. I'm waiting for the ring every day when I watch.
I'm sure she is too.
But I think it's going to be spectacular. Hashtag best BF, as she always does. He got her 500 roses. Fleur's living well. We need to really point this out. And sometimes she even skates like she did at the Europeans, because I haven't seen her practice much on Instagram in months. She landed all of her triples here. She did a beautiful performance to Swan Lake. She likes the ballet. And to Take Me to Church. It was a wonderful performance, Fleur. Parabens, you were fantastic. And
winning that life.
In those private jets and flying first class everywhere, always a shot of the feet up because she's, has all of the leg room. I think she Swiss Airways.
I love that shot. It's that secretly I'm rich. Whenever you see the legs and in the business class seat, you're like, okay.
Fleur is, sometimes she stretches on the planes between the two on the private jet. Her boyfriend writes her poetry. You have to read it. Really, we were going to the beach this summer. I made everyone in my car follow her. We all discussed it, what we thought was going on, all of it. She once did a split between two Lamborghinis in her driveway. Jenny, this is our time.
Her friend in real life. She seems
we're
like that kind
supposed
of
to
girl.
go out. So we've been supposed to go out to brunch, but I want to do the ballet. I want champagne and bacon.
You need to be the third wheel. You just need to have the boyfriend / future fiance
I would have brought
you
La
out.
with me, but La just told me she's moving to Atlanta, so I think Elkin will come. We'll go with Fleur. We'll get dressed up. Maybe I'll wear a turtleneck, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna take pictures. I want to know where these baked goods are from, and I want to see her eating them on camera. That's really the key, people. But watch Fleur at Europeans. Parabens, she was the one other girl out of the top 3 worth watching.
Okay, good to know. Well, let's move on to the men because defending his title here was Javier Fernandez.
Is he still your crush?
It's Wayne.
He has 4 European titles.
I know.
And I know it's an event that Surya won a million times and Katarina
kind of as we saw in the ladies, but he did very well. I mean, a very good short program. The long, we see these mistakes from him time and again where he'll do the big elements and then he'll miss a little something, turn out of a triple loop. I didn't think it was as up and down as we saw last season.
You get him to focus at Europeans with who he's up against. Brezhnev was in the top 3. I don't even think Brezhnev knows his long program.
I don't. Yeah,
why
and
is
it
it
shows.
modeling? What? How many times do we have to see?
He did an okay short program.
Always. But, yeah.
I think though for Javier, he's handled being world champion very well. Hasn't inputted.
He's much more mature, I think. This season.
I think for him, and this is going to sound horrible, but because Hanyu is in a class of his own, someone like Javier just needs to continue to be consistent. Maybe swallow a couple world silver, maybe a world bronze, and then hope in 2018 that Hanyu has a moment and he's just been
like Michelle in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, and he's just been good enough for enough years that the judges feel okay perhaps giving him that title. Because I don't think he'll ever...
His Victor Petrenko moment.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever surpass Hanyu just in terms of...
You know what? Stranger things have happened. I mean, Hanyu's season, last season, was so incredible.
But that's why, because Javier just kind of plotted the course.
And the thing is, we're going to talk about Canadians in our next show. Patrick Chan finally does a good short program. It doesn't even matter mathematically because now even Javi is doing 2 quads, doing them well. Yes, Patrick is a better skater than Javi, but Javi skates well, and he does
it's
what
getting
he
better,
needs to
and
do on
even with
And I like the free skate very much. I have to say it's really grown on me throughout the season. The guys and dolls. I'm with him for the journey. I think he's really improved a lot this season. So
yeah, and it doesn't come across as chickish. But and I'm going to skip
the
over him.
mistakes do bother me. The little one, like a mistake on a left.
Yeah, those are the little things where it's
loop.
like keep your head together.
Your head in the game. This is
And Mickey would have been on top of him. But
Mickey would have, but I think she needs to be at the boards with Nikolai.
Yeah, she needs to be standing there.
We saw him with Florent Amodio. I was really missing him, and that it was like an era of the past coming back to me. It's all coming back. It's all.
We'll have her interview up this week. But surprise silver medal. I mean, this is what you want when you win pewter in both portions of the competition to then come home with the silver.
It is Europeans.
No, but I mean, surprise. He said in the press conference after that he was surprised because he's fourth in the short, fourth in the long, second overall. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's a surprise when you don't do the second best program in any event, but you come home with
got some Jersey grit to him. Obviously, he's from Israel, so he lives in Jersey. And pause.
He did a single toe.
He did it quad toe, single toe combination right to start. I mean, it was just.
But in the middle of his program, and I was texting you this morning, I think he did like a flip half loop sow, a let's toe, or a let's half loop sow, something like that, 2 triple combinations that were really, really good. He has nice, just basic triples. I think he can work on his camel position. The leg is kind of bent a little bit and turned in, and he's up on his toe. He just needs to stay on the ball of his foot on that camel, get down at his knees a little bit, work on some face, but I mean, he did get 7s in PCS, so that was reflected in that mark. If he could just kind of get into the ice a little bit more and show it off. But a silver medal, nothing to scoff at here.
The Israeli men have been very good this season on the junior and senior level. Can't really tell them apart, but they are really getting the job done. And I think one day we will learn their programs. And
yes, they just need that longevity we talked about with Javier. Well, talking about stickish programs, I do think Voronov's long is a little stickish.
Verona.
Voronov. I get that. I think Voronov's long is weird,
You know what long program he's doing? Scott Hamilton from the 96, 97 Stars on Ice tour.
It's weird. It's much. And this is what I didn't like. So he
choreographed by Sarah Kawahara. Yes.
He basically blew it out in the beginning. Like, there was nothing good. The single sow cow missing the quad.
Jenny, he was like, I really think, having a bit of a Pogorelaya moment on those early jumping passes.
So then, taking that into consideration, does he deserve 8s for performance execution?
Jenny, no! No!
That's when I was like, what is going on here? I mean, there were no transitions, and then performance execution. How is he executing that performance?
He doesn't even stand up straight with his posture because the neck is forward. He's so winded. He's never done a run through of this all the way through. And when he does those quads,
it was actually very good.
It was still like huffing and puffing and huff and puff and blow your house down.
The performance execution was probably better than it was here.
Stand up, skate like a man. Come on, Hanyu's doing like 3 quads and a quad loop on practice and doing all of the triple axels in the second half. I wasn't going to give Kovtun the points here.
Okay, but question.
I would have given Amodio the bronze. I'm telling you.
He got very close to it. But question here with Kovtun. So we need 6-7 at Worlds for U.S. to get 3 spots. Is Kovtun going to, he's still in the mix. Is he a threat to our U.S. men?
Of course he's a threat, but the way I really see it is you have to think the top 5 are Hanyu, Shomuna,
Javier,
Dennis Ten, and Patrick.
Yes.
That's just, I'm sorry, people. That's how I see it. Maybe we could get 6 and 7, like if God is aligning and
we need someone like a
moon and Jupiter and like Mercury retrograde is happening. But I think like when we look at, because I think last year we got lucky. So I think Nam not going to be at Worlds, but then there are Hanyan. There's that Chinese boy,
Jin
Boyang, with all of the quads.
Yeah.
And if the judges keep not looking at how we judge the second mark, Zdelina, it's done. We not a prayer. We're not going to have 3 spots. Get the Phil Hirsch article ready. And I'm sorry, that's what's going to happen, people. Yeah, that's how I see the world.
Well, before we move on, we do need to give a shout out to
just like the sounds in the hourglass. These are the days of our lives, Jenny. Come on, that's what's going to happen. I'm telling you.
I need you to answer a question though, because I do want to talk about Amodio really quick. What is the story of his long program? Is it Zorro?
It's about man cleavage and a little bit of dancing and some like
there's
morose.
there's a definite story going on because he switches to like.
He's French, Jenny. Come on. We
I was
talked
trying
about that zebra program. Come on. Like,
if anybody knows, please let me know because this was his performance of his career and this is the time to do it. His last time skating. Parabanes. I mean, I like him. I really like him.
Gang was back to. He needed to be back with Morozov. I mean, obviously Morozov had to coach Russians. There was a coaching split. I think he's been sad. I mean, all of it. I mean, this was just what we needed in life.
Yeah. But I would like to know the story of the long program.
It looked like he practiced his long for this moment. He was here. He was jumping.
He did those triples at the end of the program. Like he didn't
like landed the axles after he drug his foot on the takeoff.
And then would do a hack loop. Double sow because he knew he needed that combination.
It was the longest half loop ever.
I see him thinking, he was like, shoot, did I just do a regular triple axel to start? Like, do I need to make this a combination?
Nikolai was crying. We need to send people to Nikolai. I'm sorry. Like, look, maybe all of our men, maybe Max Aaron could do like a little bit of a booty shaking footwork sequence, even for choreography. Tom Z, bring him in, okay? Come on. I think that we need some Nikolai. He could give Max some hair gel and like, some shellac. You know, come on. It was really, this was a vanities.
Parabens to him.
Parabens, we are going to miss you. Come on. You've given us so much. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Well, another group that has given us so much, yes, discipline, that is true, is Volosozhar and Trankov. This was definitely their best performances in succession this season. This was their event. Could they be world champions?
I believe that they could, but I have to say, I think it's going to... I don't want to say who I think could be world champions, but I'm looking forward to...
Who do you think could be world champion?
I don't want to list the contenders.
Oh, why?
Some skaters have my cell phone number.
Anyway. Well, just in your opinion. I'll say it. I think Jillian and Bob, I put them third at this point. Just compared the way that their season has gone thus far, I think the two Russian teams, I think they're doing very well, and it seems momentum is in their favor. I think Jillian and Bob, and at Nationals we saw they're still struggling. They're not quite where they were last year.
That Stolbova and Klimov were actually injured enough to withdraw from the European Championships.
No.
She's playing a game, right?
Yeah, they're both playing a game. But I think it's a game that is smart. They're winning. I mean, Stolbova and Klimov were phenomenal. Yeah, they're both going into World.
They're competed in 3 months at a big event.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters for them.
Do like a senior B before or the Russian test. They have to compete before. I mean,
they need to compete before. But I think the Elton John coach doing. Or whatever the coaches, choosing to do one team one and one team the other.
I mean, this is Russian.
It worked. It
better
was.
Than genius.
Both teams were really great, and both are going into
this season. So now we have to. Yeah, I mean, this is brilliant as well. I know that Team USA wants 3 spots, but I'm sorry, Mr. Peterson. We can. James, we're gonna have those in a row too. For I think pairs, you have to look at the top 5. Mm-hmm. I would have it as Jillian and Bob, Stolbova, Volosozhar and Trankov, Sui and Han, and then
we got to talk about Aljona and Bruno. Yeah,
and I think that that's kind of like
and then throw in another Chinese team somewhere.
I'm not talking about the American pairs, Jenny. I'm just telling you. I think halfway house is what I feel. I think that this is really and then other Canadians, Julianne and Charlie. I mean, I think it's going to be the thing is this year. For our teams for Alexa and Chris to finish 7th like they did last year, they will have to skate better than they did last year to finish 7th.
Which they haven't yet done. They haven't yet done this season.
They need their best performance at Worlds to maintain. That's why I'm not thinking that 3 spots are really likely, because for them to be 6 and 7, the Canadians, the Chinese, so many teams would have to skate really poorly. There's a Valentina in there, Matteo Lori. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a really exciting pair of them.
Well, I mean, really the standout for me here was Aljona and Bruno, because we didn't know what to expect. And coming in, they were just, I was...
Even over Volosozhar.
I mean, just for me, because I didn't know... I love Volosozhar and Trankov are great. But I expect them to be great. I expect them to skate very well.
One question. When we talk about judging... She's never 1 foot landed that throw triple flip. No. And they give them positive, and it's big, and it's
It
high.
covers ice,
Watch
but
it covers, but it comes down, and that free leg comes down every time.
I just think the throw.
It's an Oksana Bayul triple Lutz at the Riders'
Yeah.
Championships. Like, it's, come on.
But everything else is really great. The throw.
Beautiful.
Loop. I mean, he did.
Sapped. Patrick Ferrioli from Texas, who's a skater. He always points out the posture. He's a posture Nazi. Watch Tatiana and then watch Max. It's not the same.
Okay.
I'm just saying, it's not in the same cycle in the wash. Like, we watch him for the drama, but he's got a little Radionova action going on.
Yeah, I'll have to watch
Just saying.
He distracts me with his haircut. I can't.
Is that point Stolbova? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, though, I prefer Volosozhar and Trankov to your team, Stolbova and Kimov.
I prefer Stolbova's long program. I prefer Stolbova's program this year, but Volosozhar has the quality.
I just
and
think,
that's,
yeah, the lines, and her, when she lands that throw loop, it's just...
she looks amazing in that dress. And I even like their Marilyn Charlie knockoff program.
Yeah.
I think it's working.
Yeah, she's bringing it more. I just think, talking about judging, and I think they're great, but I was, like, shocked. Aljona and Bruno getting 9s for PCS. This is their first time on, like, the international. I mean, that is a little. We see these teams kind of like the Julien and Charlies, the Lubandel, like struggling to get in the 7s internationally and for 9s. But they're split twist. So many great qualities.
So Aljona is a great skater.
Yes, and she brought back the bodysuit.
Aljona deserves 9s.
Yes.
As a pair. So if you have one skater that's a 9 and one that's a 7,
you find, like, what is it, the median market, only the median market. Yeah.
And I know it was his birthday this week, and he seems like such a nice guy. He's probably, put up with a lot.
He really does post on social media, like, their little medal, or, like, he seems to really be enjoying this ride that she's bringing.
Wouldn't you be if you were being drug around by her?
But I respected about him. So he doubled the opening toe-toe sequence in their long program. He did the second triple toe. Like, that's good. I respect that about him.
Would you if you were next to her? I would be sweating.
Yeah,
I
just
really
like
thought, how come there was no cam of, like, the warm-up of, like, her walking past Robin Solkowi? Like, that's what I wanted to see. Like, what is that interaction like?
And then she and Tatiana don't have the most warm and friendly relationship.
I loved seeing them on the warm-up together. Where was Stolbova and where was Julien?
Oh,
and
the world is going to be so fun. But, okay, so he did miss 2 lifts. So, I mean, they were third in the long.
So the first lift, obviously, was visible.
Yes.
The second lift, you see that he kind of bobbles.
A minute.
I looked at his foot, but really you have to watch the Dylan Moskovich moment.
Yeah.
Where it's only a little bit of a bend. The judges don't care. Like, it's done. If your elbow bends, keep it up, honey.
The first time I watched it in normal version, I didn't notice that there was, like, any sort of hiccup. And then when I saw the protocol...
Yeah.
And then when I saw the protocol, I was like, oh, he needs to straighten that arm. Okay,
she looks so amazing in that bodysuit.
I'm so happy that she brought it back. I mean, she made the skating world happy by wearing a bodysuit.
I really think that she did it as a gift because we talked about it so much. I mean,
I really like her.
Why isn't she doing a quad twist?
I know they could do it. I mean,
she looks like she's in better shape than ever. It's really.
She seems so happy. Like, I really liked her fiance.
I don't think she was that mad at him that he, like, messed up. I mean, I think
I think she's in a good place. She's happy with them. Let's talk about Tarasova and Moroza, because it looks like Tarasova maybe not in the best place when it comes to her jumps this season, struggling.
They're very beige. Yes. And I don't understand why they need to have the shticky opening.
I was going to say, so we're going to record a GoFundMe after this. Can we just add in a new long program dress in our GoFundMe for that?
What color would you like her hair? Because they're too washed out. Yeah.
I don't mind it blonde, but you can't have blonde and then, like, a baby pink dress or, like, a light.
I was trying to figure out, I'm like, is she going to go, like, too dark like the Russian women like to do? Or is it going to be like an Ashley dye job? Or, like, what's going to happen? Adam Rapon, figure out what we would like to see happen with
and new dresses. Go fund them a dress.
Maybe she could wear some of the Adam mesh. Like, I feel like that's from the ladies department.
She needs something to kind of wake us up, because they're talk about great split.
She could wear that blouse that Adam wears over his pants for his free skate. Adam, you have that in a couple colors, right? That's not Adam's first. Like, he could send her his old one.
But talking about their skating in the split twist, it's a level 4 +2 GOE. I mean, they have really great elements that wake you up, but it's the program in a whole.
You know, when you're up at 5 a.m. with a ear/sinus infection section and you're watching this, they need to keep your attention, and this program doesn't. It doesn't. Valentina brings it with the disco. Even if it's bad, honey, it's so bad, it's fabulous.
And I don't like the new dress though. The skirt is longer, but I wanted to talk about I don't like her new long program dress.
Because it's so with the fake,
this is ugly in my opinion. You're just gonna
see her in person. Like
I own my opinions.
Like Barbara Sarpoli,
I still think, Alex Johnson, that you are not a natural jumper. I will own that.
But he jumped very well.
He did, but it's not natural. He did a great job, but I don't think jumping comes. It's not.
Alex, I thought you were beautiful, and you dropping the F-bomb twice on your national TV debut was my everything. Yeah. Okay.
But back to the pair skating here. Valentina and Andra, she had in the short program a Pogorelaya fall on that throw lutz, but the long was really great, and I think I'll never be like really behind the program. But they skated very, very well.
Why don't they do the lutzes in the short?
Yeah, they took that out. The Souths were pretty good.
Yeah, but like if you have the lutz, if you don't have the twist level, just go for it, honey.
The lutz in her lutz in the long was a little squirrely though. I don't know if maybe she's having some consistency issues on it. And also
been in Montreal all season.
No,
and I know that like Franca is apparently like there's some like politics, like you never knew when she was gonna come back to Detroit when she was training there, and you never know when she's coming to Montreal. Like, listen, the Italians, bless. I mean, how Capolini Lenotte won that short dance. Ciao, Bella, ciao. I don't understand, but I think that there's some politics going on.
I do think, though, with Valentina, she needs, and I talked about this last season, she's tall. And I think the lift,
tall girl.
Yeah, I think the lift she could extend a little bit more, but the dismount of the lift.
Pairs the Adea skates because pairs is about the lines.
Yeah, and when she comes out of the lift, she doesn't quite hold the legs and extend. Like we need 1 second longer of her just being in that moment because it's kind of on to the next. But I like them. They were great in the long program.
Actually, Marcotte, and I wanted to ask if she was responsible for that disco program and what her thoughts were because
yeah.
Julie, message us. I'm sure you can tell us what happened.
Yeah,
I would like to know. I would like a written statement of what in anyone's mind created that music edit that is Valentina's Freedom. Because it's still shocking to me every time, but it's so bad that I look forward to it in every competition.
I do too. I mean, it's unique. It's them. You got to give it to them. Before we move on to the dance, I do need to say, so this week, we talk about boots a lot. This was like the week of the John Wilson Gold Seal blades. The top 3 ladies all wore John Wilson Gold Seal, and then Volosozhar and Trankov wearing Gold Seal as well. I was a pattern 99 girl, but apparently
you're switching over.
I don't know.
You're students.
I had Haley send me the list. I was very impressed with how many of these skaters wear John Wilson and Gold Seal. So
Haley and I, we're friends on Facebook. She hasn't liked any pictures of my nephews yet. I'm just saying, Haley.
I don't know. Haley.
Calling you out. Marissa Castelli is on it all the time. I'm just saying.
Her. She's a nice girl. All right, and I like all of your sisters' photos.
You should, yeah.
Yeah, they're very cute.
Come on.
Let's talk about the dance, though, because Papadakis
and Cizeron
winning this title a second time. How big of a win and how necessary of a win was this because they missed the first one?
I mean, how much is Caitlin Weaver sweating and how much is the Shibutani sweating? They were fabulous. Marie-France, you are doing God's work. That free dance was incredible. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's where it needs to be for the World Championships yet. I still think it could grow. Their rotational lift could have a more Marilyn Charlie abandon, before it then gets quieter. We're building I don't really understand. Apparently this is the Madonna directorial debut. I don't know. I'm just watching him and her and everything.
And it's all about this Ina Bauer section in the free dance where they stop and he does the Ina Bauer.
I like when they do the flexed foot action, they go forward. But it's all about their abandon of movement. And this is why I believe that they are the #1 team in the world is because they move with freedom. Every other team, you could see them working. Every other team in the world, not picking on anyone. When he skates, it is like butter. It's just effortless.
And she's better. She's gotten better.
And he's pulling her around for the ride, and she's doing it. And it is incredible. And I believe that it's the freedom of movement. And I expect them to be one of the top 2 teams in the world and likely the world champions again. I think anything is possible. But I think that they have to be considered the favorites moving forward.
Well, Anna and Luca winning the short dance, which I was kind of surprised about, and then third in the free dance. I just find
Papadakis and Cizeron, they came from behind last year too, every time. So
I just find with Anna and Luca, and I said this in a text message. She needs to turn her toe out and point. Like, it's like the energy stops in her ankles, and her shoulders need to relax a little bit more. I find their free dance to be a little sticky. She does a lot of O to O, but it's like the ice dance manufactured O to O where it's too much, and she's such a gorgeous girl. Conversely, she has the best flesh in the business when it comes to her free dance dress. It matches her skin perfectly. They're packaged well, but it's just, I don't know, there's a depth missing from their performance.
I think when you don't have a range of character, it's always coming. To me, it becomes less effective year to year. So something that was really impressive in 2013 and 2014, to me, over time, it's marginal returns. I think it's you're not getting the same thing. I like them. They're very good. I think they've improved. I don't consider them the favorites. I expect them to be in the top 5 at Worlds, certainly fighting for the medals. But there are a lot of good teams, and it's whatever, where the chips fall.
But sometimes it's easy to forget that they were world champions. I mean, they don't. I don't know. There's nothing.
I think Natalie Pachelot remembers, but I agree with you that they don't carry themselves in the imperious manner of a world champion team at all times, especially when they're against the French. To me, you watch them and you think those are the world champions.
Yeah, they skate in a class of their own in many respects. Well, Bobrova and Solovyev, who wear MK dance blades, parabens to that choice. I think it's very good. The lines on this team, and they were second in the free dance. I think they're packaged very well. I like the beginning of their free dance. It's very theatrical, but in my opinion, just the music gets a little bit, I'm not a huge fan of violins. Let me just say that. It gets a little bit like drawn out in the middle. Could they be top 5 in the world? Definite.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But my top 5 for the World Championships. I feel like this is like I'm standing on a mountain, like writing something in a tablet. So my top 5 teams for the World Championships are Capellini and Lanotte, Papadakis and Cizeron, Maya and Alex Shibutani, Madison Chalk and Evan Bates, and Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Poget. And I believe everyone else falls as they may. You've got a Piper and a Paul, and you have a
Hubble and a Donahue, a Bobrova and Solovyev, Victoria and Nikita.
Yeah, and I think that that's kind of how the rest of the world will go.
Who also wear MK dance blades.
Just putting it in there, Jenny. A little product placement. Yes, love it. But that's how I see the ice dance world as we move forward.
Well, as we move forward, I want to know, what was your hashtag MK moment from the European Championships, David Lees?
I have a couple. I couldn't pick just one. Aljona's twist. Bless. That was an MK moment.
Yes. Fierce, honey.
Then watching the French free dance, it gave me all of the feels. I have to say, all of them. I would have given them all of the points. Just all of them. Yes, all of the points. And Florent Amodio's free skate, it excited me. Baines, what was your hashtag MK moment of the week?
Mine was the return of Aljona in the red bodysuit. I mean, it had to be in the bodysuit, wearing gold, John Wilson gold steel plates. I mean, to have her back in Bruno, this was his first time on this big stage, and I thought he handled himself well. Not very well, but he did well. And just having her back on that last warm-up group, I can't wait for the World Championships. I know all of you are excited as well, so leave us a comment below. Let us know, what was your hashtag
MK moment of the week. What was Elena Radionova texting? Whom was she texting? Why doesn't she have my cell phone number? We want to remind you that when you are going to lose to Evgenia Medvedeva and Elena Radionova, fall with relish, honey. Make it a dramatic.
Around on that ice. That is your
Let it go. Hold an edge and look sexy.
Bye, guys.